you're here because you want to start a digital marketing agency and you want help doing it. You haven't gotten your first client. You've seen a lot of coaching programs that are out there. Maybe you've seen what other successful young adults have done. We want to tell you what our recipe is, what we do, what we don't do, and if this is maybe something you'd be interested in.
So, Dennis, I mean, what's the first step then? What's the first thing you're looking for in someone that might be interested in trying to start a digital marketing agency or work with you? What's the number one quality that you're going to look for off the bat that would be a good test for them?
So there are a lot of young adults that approach me and say, hey, Dennis, will you privately coach me one-on-one and teach me everything about digital marketing and give me clients and do all these things for me, travel all around the planet because I see you doing all this traveling and speaking. That person's interested in themselves and their own brand and their success. And there's nothing wrong with you guys wanting to make money and all that. But if I see people who are thinking that way, that tells me they're not about giving back. They're not about apprenticeship. They're not about building a community. They're not about taking care of the client and making sure they're happy no matter what, as opposed to money, money, money. How much money am I making, right? Oh, I only talk to the client when it's time the invoices are to be paid, right?
Yeah.
So the number one thing is having a larger perspective than I need to make $10,000 a month and have Lamborghinis right now, right? I totally get that. You want that? That's awesome. That's just not what we do. We're about really taking care of people, because when you do that, your reputation speaks for itself. And everything we've ever gotten has been from people coming to us. The way that we got Adidas as a client, or Red Bull, or Starbucks, or you name it, right? Random like electricians and plumbers and landscapers, they all came to us. Every single one of them came to us. Why?
Lighthouses.
They're lighthouses, and thus it's about reputation. So if you understand the core of what works for us is we have a great reputation, not because Dennis is famous or is on TV, but because we do good work for restoration companies, for example, right? Jeremy Newman's a restoration company. We've done good work for him, taking care of his daughter, and so this causes other restoration companies to come to us. We've done great work with Roger Wakefield, who's the best known plumber if you're a plumber, then you know who Roger Wakefield is. He's the one, right? In every industry, there's the one everyone looks at, what you call the lighthouse. So because we have these relationships and we care so very much about protecting these relationships, any young adult like you, if you believe in protecting these relationships and actually getting competent in digital marketing, getting competent in stuff related to Google ads and SEO and websites and recording videos and talking to the client and training VAs. There's a lot of things that have to happen in order to drive results for that landscaper, for that electrician, for that roofer, for that other local service business, a dentist, a veterinarian, real estate agent, all these other ones, right? If you believe in that, then this might be a program you want to check out, because you understand everything comes from reputation and you want to honor that reputation. It's the reputation we have with these lighthouses that causes other people to be able to bring in. Right? This is what, if we give you a client and you don't do good work, that makes you look bad, because then we got to refund them. Makes us look bad because we're the ones who are kind of governing this whole network of people, and it makes the underlying figurehead look. So it's so important for reputation that it takes longer than what most people expect to actually get good, competent, and be able to do a good job, as opposed to just selling. If you're here just because you want to sell and there's a lot of money and a lot of glamour in selling, this is not for you. This is about like actually becoming an expert.
Yeah.
Not just like, can I speak on stage? But if someone comes up afterwards and asks you a question, can you actually answer that question? Do you have enough hands-on experience that you can look into their ads account and see like, yep, you know what? I can see this is what's broken.
Yeah, you don't want to be this peacock that's acting like you know all this stuff and showing your feathers and wanting everybody to look up to you when you haven't done the first step.
Amen.
And that's learning.
Yeah.
We haven't learned the first step.
Right. And the whole key with apprenticeship is that you've got to be able to respect the process of learning from other people that are top end.
So, and the key then, it's all about starting with learning, right? You can't teach, you can't do any of this until you learn the first steps.
Yeah. And the trouble is, I'm stereotyping here, but a lot of young adults are impatient. They want that quick hit. They don't realize that to become competent in digital marketing is just like being competent in becoming a plumber or becoming an electrician or becoming like whatever, good at something. You have to put in enough time to know that particular industry. And for example, take Keegan Carthy. He chose roofing. of all the different industries he could have chose. And he learned all about roofing and residential roofing and commercial roofing and aluminum roofs and damage and insurance company reimbursements and the softwares that different roofing companies use and what it costs to generate a lead and all the kinds of things specific to roofing. And so he's built a great agency serving roofing companies. And because we've elevated him, we've given him roofing clients. Whenever a roofer comes to us, we look across our network of young adult agency owners and we're like, you know what? This one should go to Keegan. But then a pest control company comes in. That should go to Danny Lee Brandt, right? Or a trampoline park comes in, like, oh, that should go to Ben Hamill. Or a rehab agency comes in. That should go to Elliot Drake. Or someone who wants to build their personal brand and do more podcasts. That can go to Jack Wendt, right? Or the funeral home, when that ever comes our way, right? That goes to Welton Hong. Yeah. So we have this network of all these young adults. Each one is in charge of a particular category because they've really specialized in landscaping or in restoration, or like Jeremy Newman. He's the best known guy among restoration companies. When you go to a restoration conference full of restoration owners, like they do, water damage, fire, flooding, mold remediation, like he's the guy, right? All of them want to be like him because I think he's got like a $15 million a year company, something like that. And so when we create content together with Jeremy for the restoration industry, restoration companies come to us. And then we need to give those leads to whoever has an agency serving that particular industry. Mm-hmm. So for you, probably your challenge is you've not chosen an industry. Yeah, but I don't want to take pest control. I don't want to take veterinarians. I don't want to take Italian restaurants. But if you don't choose one niche, then there's no way for us to be able to build reputation with a particular segment. We don't want to just be like internet marketing in general. Then you're just trying to be an influencer, right? And
that's what it comes back to learning. Like you have to be open, to learning something maybe you don't know anything about. I know I've done that many times, and it's just being open to, getting to it, trying to learn everything you can about the industry, and maybe you'll end up loving it a lot more than you even thought.
And so if you've not made your first social media dollar, you want to do what Seth has done. He took on his first client directly, EOS Expeditions, right? Luxury yacht expedition. I'm sure like maybe that's a cool thing because you like travel and all that, but he didn't know anything about luxury yachts going to Antarctica and Iceland and these sorts of places. But you quickly learn because you develop industry expertise. And then because we've done a lot of stuff with personal branding and he's good on camera, then we're like, okay, now this guy, Colby Davis, came in and he's a painter and he's trying to build his personal brand and do reputation management kind of stuff. Well, that's perfect for what we're doing, right? Because when you look up Colby Davis, depending on when you're watching this, you might not see that he is the successful owner of one of the largest, fastest growing painting companies on the planet. Within 5 years, he wants to be the largest painting contractor in America. And he's well on his way to doing that because he's basically doubling every year, right? But he's been so busy, Colby Davis has been so busy working on the actual operations and staffing and hiring and marketing and all that kind of stuff that he himself, as the owner, has been kind of invisible. Yeah. So Seth and I have been working on taking those components of his personal brand and growing it. And guess what happens? As we do more stuff for Colby Davis, what does Colby Davis do? He's already started doing it. He's already started talking about us and about how he loves, creating content with us and how we're helping him with his SEO and training his team and all that. Well, when Colby Davis talks about us, what happens?
People that follow Colby Davis and respect him, they're going to instantly respect us.
And now other painters have been coming to us. I know this is something that's totally foreign. Most of you guys have never seen it's possible or don't think it's possible. My entire career, every client we've ever got, Adidas, Starbucks, Red Bull, Ashley Furniture, the Golden State Warriors, every one of those, Seth, has come to us because we do good things and put it out there and publish it. So as you are doing great things for Colby Davis with the help of our VAs, now you have these other VAs that you're working with, so you're learning how to run a team, right? That Colby Davis starts talking about us, saying like, yeah, it was really great what these guys did. He's well known among painters. Other painters start coming our way saying, can you do the same thing for us? And be like, yeah, sure. In fact, here we have this whole agency that serves just painters. Actually, we don't have an agency for painters, so we need like maybe one of you guys can be the guy for that, right? And so the entire model is built upon that reputation. And the thing is, we've been really lucky because we've done good work in Garage Door. We have Tommy Mello. We have Roger Wakefield, who's #1 among plumbers. Ask any plumber who's Roger Wakefield. He's the most famous of the plumbers among plumbers. Nilson Silva is the pool builder guy. So you go to a pool building conference of all the pool builders, they all know who this guy is. He's a celebrity, right? And so we work with him and he constantly talks about us, and that brings more pool builders over to us. So as we do good things together in partnership with these lighthouses, meaning the leaders of these categories, their trust and reputation, which they've spent an entire lifetime in career building, they're willing to share that. Like, why are they willing to share that with us?
It's the power of genuine connection, building these relationships and developing rapport, developing this respect that they're going to instantly respect other people in your network. And there's really there's nothing more powerful marketing wise than having that true connection.
And so that reputation, those true connections, that takes a lot of time to build. That's not just like doing a collab or a Zoom call with them. That, if you notice, I'm actually flying out there and meeting with these people. Seth and I, we were in Miami last month and meeting with a client, Forever Young, which they do health and wellness. And we were actually there with the CEO, with the head of marketing, with their staff there, collecting videos, building relationships, eating lunch together. And so we have put in that hard work to build those relationships so that then that reputation generates inbound lead flow for us. So where you come in as a young adult is, if you understand how to execute, then we will give you clients to work on. We'll give you one client to work on initially, but under the supervision of someone who's senior. So that way you don't goof it up. Otherwise it's too risky. We can't afford to hurt the reputation of the lighthouse, of the other people. We don't want refunds. That reputation works the other way too, because if we goof up, then that can destroy all these things that we've worked so hard to build. So the catch-22 for you guys is, are you willing to put in the time without being paid right now to learn enough about digital marketing, demonstrate you can make 1-minute videos, demonstrate you can take a video like this and turn it into an article, demonstrate that you know how LSA works. So if Seth or I or Parker or Nielsen or whoever were to ask you questions about digital marketing, you'd be able to answer them. Then you've qualified to be able to be an apprentice and do basic tasks as part of a team. Just like you're an apprentice who wants to be a plumber. You're working under a master tradesman. You're a veterinarian. You're working under someone who's been a veterinarian for a long time, right? Not just trying to do it all by yourself. Good luck, right?
Yeah.
And then as you start to grow, as you do more functions, more complex tasks, then you become a team lead. You can start to have meetings. You can start to send out the weekly report, showing what's going on, doing analysis. You can start to be able to talk to the client. You can start to troubleshoot. You can start to hire and fire virtual assistants that we have from the Philippines and from Pakistan. You can start to help build our training and make it better. Like what Seth and I are doing, like right now we're making training to help us attract the right young adults into the program. So we don't have to explain why we do things, or because we don't, like, if you're not willing to put in the work and all this, we're not here to hold your hand, right? But we're here to mentor an apprentice, right? Apprentice is not the same thing as babysitting and tutoring.
Yeah, it's not just a regular course. I've taken many social media marketing courses, things like that. I'm sure you guys have too. And it's not that. It's this element of mentorship that's so much more powerful than just sitting down and going through courses like you would in school would be.
Yeah.
It's like having a teacher, but even more so, it's a true mentor that's walking through all of this with you, teaching along the way.
So if you're still with us, this is a really good sign, because most people, they're so impatient. They just want to make that quick dollar right now. And they're constantly, every couple of weeks, trying some new random thing and hoping eventually that's going to be successful. But if you're here at this point, there's a good chance you realize that the key to success is you've got to niche down into choosing one category first. You have to work under someone else who already has the reputation and the framework. Because if you take on a random client by yourself, you'll probably goof it up, even though it's easy to sell people, convince your mom, who's a psychiatrist or who's a whatever, that you can do the work. Like these business owners, they don't know. It's easy to sell them, right? But you have to be able to actually competently do the work and then make it repeatable as part of a process where you build a brand, you build a team, you build a company, you leverage the things that have already worked for all the other young adults that are in our program that are doing, like Danny Liebrandt with pest control, or Welton Hong with funeral homes, or Keegan Carthy with roofing, or Jack Went with high-rise influence, or like the list goes on and on and on, right? You can network with these other people that some of them are several levels above where you are, which is great. That's aspirational. Maybe you don't want to make millions of dollars like Marco Cipolla does. Fine. The whole point is, when you network with other young adults that you resonate with because they're at the same stage in life as you are, or they're getting married next year and they're starting, like, whatever their life situation is, similar goals, similar whatever it is. Maybe you're better on video and they're better on like analytics, and you guys kind of collaborate on that. That's the kind of thing we want to see, because then you're not at it alone and dependent upon your own skills, trying to be amazing at everything, which
Yeah.
nobody can be.
Yeah, you can grow so much faster with a team than you ever will
Yeah.
on your own.
This is how you build a team. I mean, how else are you going to build a team of other people that are there on your side? I don't mean team as in team members like virtual assistants that work for you. I mean other people in a community that you can collaborate
A
with.
support system.
Yeah. Like your mom and dad. I mean, sure, your mom and dad will like cheer you on and believe everything you do is amazing, right? But when you've got to deal with a difficult client situation, you need someone who's actually been in that situation and solved it before multiple times.
Yeah.
And thing is, in our network, we've already, like, whatever issue that could possibly happen in the world of digital marketing, we've got the scars to prove it. We know what the answer is, right? Maybe it's new to you, but we've seen every potential situation because we've seen it across so many thousands of agencies. And we coach a lot of agencies. We just did one this morning with a whole bunch of agencies, right? And so why not avail yourself of that where there's so many mistakes that you don't even realize that you'll make going down the path of starting a digital agency, especially in local. Like, why make the path any harder? Other people will look at this and they'll say, well, this is too good to be true. Like, why is Dennis willing to help all these young adults? Or what's the catch?
The hard work.
That's the catch,
Infinite
the hard
amount
work.
of hard work and learning and
Yeah.
doing. You have to do these things. It's
And
like you
we're
said,
not
it's not
charging.
just selling them on it.
Yeah. Like, Seth is getting paid through this program. And guess what? I'm not even the one paying Seth. It's one of the other young adults, Parker Nathans, that has been growing through the different levels. He's midway through. And as part of his thing, because, he's gotten a lot of benefit, a lot of clients and a lot of support and a lot of VAs and all that. And so as part of his thing to be able to contribute back, he's funding Seth, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we want people to do. Like, every one of these folks, we're not charging them some kind of fee. We're saying, if you believe in this apprenticeship mentorship model, if you've gotten benefit from this, then pay it forward so that, a year down the line, you look back at the Seth Jordan of a year ago and say, like, okay, how do I help another 10 Seth Jordans? If you believe in that, that's probably the most important thing to be successful in our program. I'm not worried about, like, can you learn how to use WordPress or AI tools, or like, you can learn all that. Or, should I choose like roofing or plumbing? Or, because they'll often like, I don't know what category to choose. Like, you know what, it doesn't really matter. Because once you've done it enough times, and look at the interviews where we're asking other agency owners like a Danny Barrera or a Tony Ricketts or Jonathan Mast or a Josh Nelson. If you don't know who these other people are, you don't know the world of digital marketing, right?
Yeah.
These are figureheads. I've been on their podcast and vice versa. They will all tell you that when you provide a service as an agency, whether it's an HVAC technician or pest control or what, it's actually the same thing, because you're helping a local service business be able to make the phone ring, which means ranking in Google, which means the website has to be a certain way, which means you have to tell the client, hey, we got to collect more of these reviews, we got to run ads in a certain way. Google has a whole process and how we do that through local service ads and the regular Google AdWords. There's a way to do it on social media. It's kind of the same thing, whether you're HVAC or pest control or roofing or an electrician. Now the tools and the service offerings are like slightly different, like what an electrician offers versus a tree cutting company. But the framework's the same, and that's why we have this whole framework. We saw across all these other agencies, it was actually the same kind of thing, but for each of these agency owners, like a Parker Nathans, he's developed relationships in a particular industry. Ben Hamill built relationships just among these trampoline parks and the way trampoline parks operate and the marketing campaigns. It can be repeatable in a franchisable kind of way. Marco Cipolla knows concrete coating. He knows the software, he knows the suppliers, he's attending World of Concrete, he's like the conference. He's in real tight with that group.
Yeah.
But as he has said in other videos together, that it's actually the same process overall, but they're industry specific things, specific relationships that once you've kind of earned the right, you build these relationships. Now, our goal is to help you guys build, to get going from zero to the point where you're able to run your agency under your company, under Jordan Media or Your Name Media, whatever, it doesn't
Or
even
whatever
matter
you come
what
up
the name
with,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, whatever the name is. But we want to get you to the point where you're doing good enough work that there's enough reputation coming from you doing good work. Someone I won't name, but one of the young adults came to me saying, Dennis, I'm not growing, right? I'm at only $10,000 a month. I need to go out and cold call and DM people and use all the software to like auto spam LinkedIn and Instagram to get more clients, because I need more clients now. I need more money because I set a goal. I was going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25, and now I'm 24 and I don't have much time left.
Deep breath.
And I said, wait. So let me ask you an obvious question. Do you know why you're not getting more clients? He said, yeah, because I'm not out there doing cold outreach and selling and telling people, hey, sign up for my program, or, no. It's because of the 5 clients that I already gave you, not one of them is happy. Yeah, but none of them refunded, they continue to pay. Well, yeah, just because they continue to pay doesn't mean that they're happy.
Yeah, and that probably won't last long.
Yeah, and so, in fact, almost all of those, 4 of those 5 have refunded. I paid for the refund. That hurt. So I said, you don't understand what the definition of happy is. Happy is, if I were to ask them, hey, how's the work doing? How is so-and-so doing? And if they say, it's amazing, I love it, it's great, right? If I don't hear them explicitly say that they're ecstatic, they're not happy.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
But they haven't complained. They paid the invoice the last 3 months. That's not the same thing. They have to explicitly say that they're happy. If I were to ask them, right? And if that's not the standard that you go for, if you're a C student and you're okay with turning in C's, this is not for you. We want A. And until it's an A, because the whole thing that generates power in this system is based on reputation. You do such good work by actually following our checklist, not cutting corners and whatnot, that then the client's ecstatic about you, because then Nielsen Silva, we do great work for him. All the other pool builders start coming our way. Without us needing to do cold outreach, without us ever asking the clients to promote us, ever. My entire career, the last 35 years, I've never had to ask anyone for a testimonial or say, hey, please endorse us and say how awesome we are, right? The clients naturally do that because they're getting great results. Even if you don't do anything to promote yourself, if you do great work, I promise you clients are talking about you. I also promise you that if you don't do good work, the clients are talking about you.
Yeah.
And they have small circles. I did an interview with Glenn Vo, he's got 40,000 dentists that follow him. He's a successful dentist. And he says, yeah, I've got a group of 40,000 dentists. And whenever the sales bros come in and say, could you use an additional X new clients for your dentist, your dental practice? And he's like, yeah, we all know. Oh yeah, there's that guy. Yeah, we watch out for that guy. They all know, right? Don't assume these guys are dumb. Just because they're older, they don't understand technology, they're not dumb.
Yeah.
Right?
And then it's over. I mean, once your reputation's ruined in that niche, it's going to be a real struggle to get that back.
So if all of this makes sense to you, and you understand that ultimately it's reputation, and it's not how can I make some money real quick and get to $10,000 and drive a Lamborghini. There's other programs for that, right? But if you embrace apprenticeship, if you believe it's important to actually do good work, even though you can snow the underlying client and they won't know any better, and like give them a sales pitch about how, SEO takes time or whatever it is, because some other internet bro told you this is a quick way to make money, secrets using AI to make $100,000 while you sleep and you're on the beach. If you believe that, go follow those people. But if you believe in doing it the right way and publishing your work and leaving it open for inspection, so anybody can come in and inspect your work and see, if I come in and inspect, or other people can inspect and see, is the work being done properly? Pop the hood, let's look at the engine.
I mean, that's hard to do. Not many people can do that.
Yeah, I mean, even we have to live by our own standards. We have to, I come in and audit our stuff, and I see sometimes we fail on that stuff too, and it's bad because the last thing we want is for us to be publishing the standards and then someone else saying, yeah, dude, but I looked at one of the clients of yours and I saw you don't even follow your own standards, man.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
But better to fail, and then you can learn from it with someone helping you, teaching you, than to fail and no one's watching, and then you're losing that client in no time.
So if this sounds good to you, reach out to Seth. Reach out to me or Parker or Marco or any of these other people, anyone in our program, ask them, hey, how do I get started? Or send an email to Stephanie@blitzmetrics.com and see, is this something that you want to do? Because the people in our program believe in apprenticeship. They believe that when you do the right thing over time, reputation. Yeah. It's not even about being really good at programming, or it has nothing to do with technical skills. It literally is do you really care about doing such good work that you would be up at night worried that plumber that you're collecting $2,500 a month from is going to complain because, you're in the mall, whatever, eating at the Panda Express, and that plumber comes up to you and said, Seth, dude, I paid you $2,500 a month, dude, and you didn't deliver for me.
It's a bad feeling.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy, okay? If that's the kind of thing that also matters to you, then consider what we have here, because this is not a coaching program. This is not a done for you. This is not where we charge you $10,000 for the secrets of digital marketing. This is about you becoming an apprentice, just like you'd be an apprentice working as a dentist, like a dental assistant, or a paralegal. Eventually you want to be a lawyer, or whatever the role is, where you're a blacksmith. You have to go through the junior roles until you eventually become the master. That's what this is. This is not a new model. Anywhere in any education system, ever since the beginning of business, there's always been this apprentice model. It just for some reason hasn't existed in digital marketing because of this whole like, you can be an influencer and make millions of dollars all by yourself with no team, with no reputation, because the internet could see this and you could blow up and, you know, be the what is the flossing guy, or like, I mean, really?
Yeah, everyone's pushing the easy way, or they make it look easy.
Yeah.
They're trying to make you think it's easy, and it's not at all.
So look at what this is really about. If you think that this is something that you can do, you can be anywhere on the planet, Philippines, Brazil, Pakistan, whatever. But if you probably are a young adult and you're like Seth or Marco or these other folks, and this resonates with you, let us know. What do you think?